Hey there, it is Saturday, November 12th, and we are going to play our weekly daily word games. Um, don't have that much to say. Thanks as always to my patrons. You can join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You get bonus videos. I did post a bonus Patreon video today, not today, this week. It was a few days ago, of the weekly Squirtle solve, and it went pretty well. So you can check that out if you haven't. Patrons get access to bonus videos and other content. And if you spring for the Explorer tier, which is only $5 a month, you also get access to my vlog. So you can check that out as well. Patreon.com/GeoJesser. Thanks as always to all of my regulars, my commenters, my viewers, people who join me on my streams. I stream on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. Pacific. Hope to see you there. If you haven't joined me before, we have a lot of fun. We play GeoGuessr and custom maps from my viewers. So it's always a lot of fun. You can submit a custom map. There's a link in the description to do that through my Google form so that it pops up on my spreadsheet and I don't have to go hunting for it. Anything you like, any kind of theme that's interesting to you. We had a Know Your Oregon Trail series that was just points along the Oregon Trail. We have had several world history ones of points of historical interest, things like that. So if there's something interesting to you, or we've had ones that are just funny, funny themes and things like that. So if you want to make me a map, I will do it on my stream. I like it if you're there while I do it. So if I need a hint or anything, you're there to help out. Yeah, so let's play some daily weekly word games, or weekly daily word games, or whatever I usually say. Today it's going to be Notwordle, Symble, Wordle Peaks, Xordle, Warmle, and Fibble. Let's go. So, Notwordle, one of my favorites. I do play it pretty much daily. I don't always record it. Sometimes I wish I had. We'll see how today goes. But I will explain it in case you haven't seen it before. I like to start with the word pound because I can start with whatever I want. Oh, that was a good start. Okay. So the clues you get are, this is just the number of points your word is worth, like in Scrabble, and the values are here on the keyboard, so you don't have to guess. It tells you whether the score you need is higher or lower than what you guessed. In this case, I need an 8-point word. It tells you if you need to go toward A or towards Z in a dictionary from that word. So in this case, I need a word that would be found earlier in the alphabet. And that can be, it could be a POL word, or it could be a word starting with A. Anything that would be found earlier in the dictionary. It has an algorithm based on Google Books searches, I think, whether the word is too common or too obscure based on that data. So in this case, I need a word that's more obscure. And then it gives you, if any of the letters would have been green in Wordle, it tells you how many, but not which ones. So one of these letters is in the correct location in the word. If there are no greens, it will tell you how many yellows. And if there's no yellows, it will tell you 5 grays. So in this, which means there could also be yellows if it tells you about a green. So for example, I could have a P and a U in the answer word, and one of them's green, for example. And that's how that works. And then this clue, it tells you if you were doing a word ladder game, as in you change one letter at a time to get to the answer word, and each following word has to be a valid word as well. It tells you how many minimum steps you would need to get to the answer. So you can kind of tell, like, oh, I'm pretty close. I would only need to change one letter to get there, or I'm so far away that there's not even a way to get to it. In fact, I did one, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where I had all impossibles until I got the answer. Like, there was just every single thing I guessed, there was no way to get to the answer on a word ladder. It was pretty weird. So we need an 8-point word, a 5-letter word that has one letter in place, but earlier in the alphabet. So let's try ending in, actually, let me try leaving the O in place, and we'll go, say, to, how much earlier do I want to go? Let's try L. L-O something. L-O... 40 is too many. Maybe. Lori's good. We'll do that. Okay, too obscure, but I got a second letter in place. And go towards Z. So it's between Lori and Pound in the alphabet. LMNOP. I wonder if it ends in Y. I wonder if it's an OY word. I bet it is. So let's try. I mean, it could be mommy for all I know. That's too many points, though, so probably not. Ooh, M might be too many. Well, so Y is 4 points and M is 3, so that's already 7. So that's impossible. It does not start with M if it also ends in Y. I mean, it could even be. That's too many points as well. N-O? Be nanny. Let's try that. Okay, 2 yellows. So it does not end in Y. Oh, that didn't have 2 greens. That was stupid. Well, anyway, now I know for sure it doesn't end in Y. And it's earlier in the alphabet. So that does narrow it down. So let's go back. Let's try L-O as the start. The 2 greens. And then we're going to need an A and an N probably. That's going to be hard. Maybe it ends in N. But it has to be later in the alphabet than Lori. That might be hard to do. I mean, something like that, but obviously that's not enough points. So maybe one of the R's was in place. But 2 yellows in nanny is really interesting. Like that, maybe? That's not enough points. Well, it can't be L-O-R. That would be 3 greens. That's very strange. L-O-A would be earlier in the alphabet. That only has 1 yellow in nanny anyway, but it's also not enough points. It's just an interesting guess. Okay. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, I do still need a green in pound, so it's not the N. It's probably that O then. I think the O is right. So that fits, right? Does that have that has 2 yellows in nanny? It has 1 green in pound and 2 in Lori. I think that's right. Yeah. I'm pretty pleased with that. Anytime I get it in 4. One time I got it in 2, but that's unusual. But yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. That was a good solve, I think. Very solid. All right. Well, let's move on to Symble. And we can start Symble with loyal. Why not? Why not? Because it's not a great starting word for Symble, but that's okay. We have rules. Oh, it's all grays anyway. So if you haven't seen Symble before, I'll explain it briefly. I think most of my viewers have, and I don't want to drag things out, but let me just grab another word here. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. So Symble it's similar to Wordle, obviously, in that you're guessing a 5-letter word. But the clues it gives you, first of all, you don't know which symbol means which color. So one of these symbols means gray, one of them means green, one of them means yellow, but we don't know which. In this case, we know that this green circle is gray because if it weren't, it would mean that either this was a complete anagram of loyal, which is highly unlikely, or it was right, and obviously it wasn't. So we can be pretty confident that the green circles represent gray in this case. But we don't know. I don't know what to call this thing. It looks like sort of like the Imperial symbol from Star Wars, but this yellow funny symbol means either yellow or green, and this red sun means either yellow or green. And then the other difference with Symble is that rather than these clues applying to the word you guessed, they apply to the answer word in relation to the word you guessed. So this means either the R or the T is green in the answer word, meaning R is fourth or T is fifth. And then depending on which is which. For example, if the red sun means green, that means the word ends in T. But it means here, not that the R is yellow, but that the S, H, or I is yellow, and that it should go in the fourth position. That's kind of how I think about it. So if shirt were the answer and the answer word was your guess, what would the answer word be colored in order to be related to the word shirt? So the next thing to do is to figure out which color is which. So I'm going to try leaving the R in place and putting a different letter no, that seems hard. I'm going to leave the T in place and put a different letter before the R, probably S. ST makes sense for an ending. So let's try EST probably, or UST. I can't reuse any of the other letters. So it has to be all new letters except for that. So Quest would fit. Let's try it. Why not? Okay. Interesting. So ST is not right. The T looks like it's right. Either that or it ends in S. It is possible it ends in S. Actually hard to tell. When you repeat two letters in your next guess, sometimes it's not clear. So either it ends in T or it ends in S. And then if it ends in S, the fourth letter has to be H or I. So probably I. If it ends in T, the fourth letter has to be H or I. So either way, the fourth letter has to be H or I. Probably I either way. Now the first letter is U or E. It can't be Q because it would be the red sun, I think. Yeah, that's clear. The red sun has to be green because if this yellow symbol were the green one and R should have been the fourth letter, then Q would have to be followed by U, and then this would also have to be the yellow symbol, and it's not. So we can be confident that it ends in T, but not ST. So probably IT, because I guess HT is possible, but not without an I. You could have IGHT, but we can't have an I. So let's try IT. We can't have an I in the second position, I should say. And then let's start with E, maybe? Or something like that. Actually, U, like unfit, fits really well. Let's try that. Yeah, nice. That was a good solve. So you can see the I was yellow in unfit. So if this were the word unfit, the I was yellow, and it goes in the fourth slot. And the T was green. Green. In this case, yellow happened to be yellow. All right, that was a good solve. I'm happy with that. 3 or 4 is fine. Fewer than that is surprising. More than that is a little disappointing, but 3 or 4 is good. All right, so let's start Wordle Peaks with unfit, which is not the best Wordle Peaks start, but we have rules here. That is an altogether unsurprising result, except for the T. Higher than T in the alphabet is interesting. If you're not familiar with Wordle Peaks, all it is it tells you whether the letter that goes in that slot is higher or lower in the alphabet than the letter you guessed. And it points down if you need to go earlier, and it gives you the letter range here in the cell. You don't have to guess. It also grays out any letters that are not valid guesses. And if it's orange pointing upward, you need to go higher in the alphabet, towards Z. Very straightforward. So let's try. I'm thinking it probably ends in Y. I'm guessing Misty passive-aggressively because it's not on the answer list and it should be. I was right, it ends in Y though. Let's see. Could be Nanny. I want to try Nanny just because. Oh, okay, not bad. A-N. It could be Pansy? Let's try Pansy. Yeah. Nice. Quick solve. I like getting it in 3. But 4 is okay. And around a minute is great. All right. Now we're going to move over to Xordle, or Xordle, depending on what you feel like calling it. And in Xordle, we're guessing 2 words on the same board. We don't know which letters belong to which word, but we do know that the words don't share any letters. And we are started off with the word swift. So we know that one of the words ends in T, and one of the words has an I in it that is not in the 3rd position, but we don't know if the I and the T are in the same word. They can be, but they may not be. I usually like to start with just a whole new set of letters, because you obviously need more than 2 letters to make 2 words. Okay, so there's an N in one of the words as well. It is not 4th. That's looking an awful lot like night, isn't it? Let's try it. Yeah, okay. Pound was a good guess. All right, so I've gotten one of the words. It happened that all 3 of those letters were in the same word. So now I'm flying blind, and it's basically just solving a Wordle at this point without using any of the letters I've already tried. So how about... Married. I don't know. Okay, got the R, and there's an M in the word. Must be an A for the vowel. There's no Y. There's only an A. Huh. I wonder what it is. Let's start with A. It's got to have 2 A's, right? That just... Karma fits. Nice. Swift Night Karma. And we have our AI-generated image to go with it. I guess that's supposed to be Taylor Swift. I'm not sure. Submitted by Belle M. Awesome. All right, so that wasn't too bad. I'll take that as a good solve. And let's go on over to Warmle. Now, Warmle is similar to Wordle Peaks in that you're given clues about the location of the correct letter in the word. But in this case, you're told whether the letter you need is within 3 in the alphabet of the letter that's there. So in this case, we need a letter that is either more than 3 before G in the alphabet or more than 3 after G in the alphabet. And here we're started off with gakwup, which sounds like the sound you make when you eat a really sour candy. Now, it's always just a nonsense word, but I always like to see what it might mean if it were a word. Gakwup. Let's try S. S-H. I like that. S-H-O-O-T. Okay. So now we know that the second letter is E, F, G, I, J, or K. So yellow means you're within that 3-letter or that sort of 7-letter range, not including the letter that you guessed. And then, of course, green means you have the right letter. But, all right, let's try, it's probably a vowel here. Let's try E. Maybe L-E? What about lease? Ooh. Okay, cease. That was pretty good. I'll take that. Lease was a good guess. Luck. All right, and let's finish up with Fibble. Got our Keldor extravaganza today. So Fibble is exactly like Wordle. The clues all mean the same thing. The only difference is that in every line, in every guess, exactly one of the tiles is lying about its color. So one of these letters is in the word, but we don't know which one. So what I like to do is guess a word that's almost the same to try to catch it in a lie. Ah, perfect result. So here, in Briar, it says there's a yellow R and a green I, but in Friar, it said there's no R or I. So somebody's lying here, and exactly one of these is a lie in each line. So it could be that there's no R and there's no, or, okay. It could be that this R is lying and there is an R, and therefore this I is telling the truth and this I is lying. Or it could be that there's no R and this R is lying, and there is an I and this I is lying. because there's exactly one lie. So we know one of the R's is lying, one of the I's is lying, which means we know all of this other information is true. So we can mark it, if you right click, you get this green or blue outline, I guess it's blue, that lets you know I have established this information is absolutely true. There's no A in the word, there's no F in the word, there's no B in the word, and if there's an R, there's only one, and it's not at the end, because there are two R's in it. So now we need to figure out if the R or the I is the lie. And so I'm going to guess another word with an I in the middle, but otherwise all new information, and see what we get. So how about stink? Okay, so the I's agree, but we don't have any other contradictions because I guessed all new letters, so maybe that was actually a mistake. I probably should have guessed an R as well. I like to change it up. But what we can do is I can basically do the same thing again where I try to catch it in another lie, something like sting. Ah, perfect. So we like to call this an X-wing when you get two contradictions, because in Sudoku, an X-wing it kind of makes an X shape. Either both of these are lies or both of these are true, and it makes like an X. So since one of these S's is lying and one of these I's is lying, we know there's no T, there's no N, there's no K, and there is a G, but it is not last. And that actually is kind of interesting. So if this S is lying, then there's an I. If this S is lying, then there's not an I. So there's definitely an S in the word because they can't both be lying. Because otherwise you'd have to simultaneously have an I and not have an I. We just don't know if it starts with S. We don't know yet if there's an I in the word. But we do know there's a G, so we have something. A G and an S. Which makes me want to try a guess. Oh, wow, what in the world? Okay. I don't think I've ever gotten a result like that. So, interesting. I realize guess doesn't have any lies in Friar, so I do need an R or an I in the word. Guys would work. No, guys would have two lies because this S would be green and this S should be gray. So that would actually have two lies. That doesn't work. Actually, that has three lies. Actually, yeah, three lies. It's definitely not guys. G-U-I-S-E. Three lies. That's not very good. So let's work this through. If this G were lying, we would know it should be green. We would also know the second letter is U. And we would also know it has two S's and an E. So that does not work. This G is true. If this U is lying, it could be that there's no U, but we would still have to have two S's. So my hunch is one of these S's is lying. And I think it starts with S. So I think this S is lying. Let's play on that assumption and see what we get. So SU, I wanted to do suing, but there's no N. That's not a word, is it? Sugar is a word. Oh, there's no A. Oh man, I thought I had something. There could be an R, don't forget. And if there is an R, there isn't an I. Yeah, that actually works, because if I think this is the lie, then this and this are lying. That works really well. I'm going to go with that, and then this would be lying. Fits the clues. So it could also, can't end in R, otherwise this would be a lie. So let's try surly. Ooh, I really thought I had it. Okay. Well, if this is still the case, then SUR was right. Oh, I need a G. Surge. There we go. That was stupid. Surly was a dumb guess. I should have known what it was. All right. Well, anyway, I think that was a fine solve. It wasn't perfect. I've certainly done better. But got it. Surly was just a silly guess. I don't even know why I did that. Of course it was wrong. I needed a G and an E. Sometimes I do that. I forget that I've identified letters that have to be in the word, and then I just ignore them. Anyway, Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to my patrons, especially to my Explorer tier patron, Shalaz. Join me tomorrow for my stream at 2 p.m. Pacific. We play GeoGuessr, and if you'd like to leave starting words for Quordle, I like a 3-letter start with a set of unique letters, as many unique letters as possible. Did I say a 3-letter start? 3-word start. That are thematic in some way. Any kind of theme you want, something related to a vacation you took, something that you did, a holiday coming up. We'll probably have a Thanksgiving themed one coming up. If you don't suggest one, I'm going to make one. Along those lines, fall themed. Maybe it's National Hot Dog Day or something. Well, I think that was in July, but you know what I mean. So anything you want, anything that's meaningful to you, a movie you like, and so forth. So feel free to leave that in the comments. I do keep a record of all the suggestions and who suggested them so that I can be sure to use them in the future. And that's all I got. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy your November weather if you have good November weather, like we do. And I will see you next week for more weekly daily word games. Bye for now.